Hello, friends. This is Sara Oehler with SoftFlexCompany.com. I am not going to lie, I have been looking forward to this all day. We got some not great news this morning about a family friend, and I won't go into the details, but that just coupled with all of the news lately has just been a little too much. So I am ready to work on creating. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have made so many things this month. A lot of Instagram reels and TikToks. And part of the reason why is that when things are tough, when I get bad news or just generally speaking, when life gets rough, I kind of turn to my beads and wire, and that helps me to feel better. And so, on a day like today, when we got some pretty bad news this morning, I'm looking forward to tuning all that out and picking up my WigJig and hopefully remaking this pretty earring that I worked on last week. This was the first time I've done this earring pattern, just like this. I've done similar things, but not quite like this. So we are going to work on a second one, and we're going to kind of fine tune it a little bit today as we go and see if we can make it just a little bit cleaner and easier to make. And so all day long, I've been waiting for 3 o'clock to have my wire and my beads out and to get to do a little bit of creating. So thank you for being here with me today. I know this is a busy week leading up to Christmas. For those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry early Christmas from me. My family celebrates Christmas. It's a very exciting time in our house. I have a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and they're all very, very excited for this weekend. And they are officially out of school for holiday break. So we have that going on as well. So if you hear some little feet pitter pattering behind me, you'll know it is probably one of my littles checking in to see what's going on in here. I think that grandma just put on a favorite TV show. So hopefully that will keep them occupied while I'm in here doing this video, but you just never know with little kids what's going to happen. So hello, thank you for being here. Thank you, Sherry, Sharon, Marisol, all of you. I see you. Gail, of course. Sweet Gail, always the first one here. Nice to see you. And I see Marisol says she's been relaxing and starting some Valentine's Day ideas. That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to flip into the next season already. And that's kind of what I was thinking about with this earring that I'm going to show you today. Let me flip over. Hi, sweet Danielle. I'm glad to see you're here too. That's kind of what I was thinking. Hi, Carolyn. You love the sound of little pitter patter. Well, there's plenty of that around here. So I was kind of thinking about Valentine's Day when I was playing with this earring last week. I made tons of videos the last 2 weeks. I was saying as you guys were kind of settling in here with all of the wild news out there. It's my coping mechanism. And so I have been making like crazy. I made these beautiful earrings last week on Instagram Reels. If you want to check those out, we have these new brass beads in the shop that are fantastic. And then we have baby daggers that went into the shop just last Wednesday. You can buy them individually as just a strand, or you can get the bundle. And I'm going to use some of those today as well. Here are some of the fun colors that we have them in. And they're fun because they're small. And so they're not quite that size of the bigger ones. And they just kind of work really well for like a fringe. These are the ones that I'm going to use today in our earring. And even earlier, before I got on here, I was starting to play around with what may become my Instagram reel for today and possibly my TikTok. I'm using some Econoflex medium in our snow white color. And I said medium. I have a 30-foot spool here. I'm thinking about taking those beautiful ceramic beads that we have in the shop in the garnet color and looping them to make a really nice, long, beautiful garland. And then I can put that garland on my tree. I can hang it from my mantle. I'll probably show a few different ways that you can do it, but you can see it's turning out kind of cute. And we have them in a few different fun holiday colors. Although we are moving on into the next season. Some of these things are kind of nice to leave out after Christmas, just to give that little bit of a winter feel. So maybe choose, I was thinking the winter white with the garnet color isn't kind of specific to Christmas, but could still really look nice hanging across my mantle after the season is over and we're taking down decorations. I might hang this up in place of it to give it just like a little bit of color and excitement. Oh, I just lost my hand camera. Okay, well, I guess I got to get that back. It's going to be one of those kinds of days, I see. Let me see here. And I have to go to the link and open it all up again. I'm glad you're all still here, though. If you can patiently wait, I promise I'll be back. StreamYard has been doing this more and more, dropping hand cams. I'm not sure why, but you do what you can, right? And it all works out in the end. Let me fix that. I'm almost there. And she's back. And she's back. Okay. Thank you for being so patient. Robin says, good to see your cute little face. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that. Hey, Becky, no problem. I just totally lost my hand cam, so you didn't miss anything. And Yolanda says that'll work for Valentine's. Yeah, I think the garland could be very pretty for Valentine's Day. It's really pretty. I'll end up taking a picture and posting it. I might do it as a tutorial on Instagram, so watch for it there. I imagine I'll do it later today. I'm off for the weekend after today. So I'm going to be busy baking cookies and ham and entertaining little kids all weekend long. But I will be back next Tuesday to see all of you guys. And I hope you end up having a really fantastic weekend. So let's make this. Hopefully I can remember how I made it the first time. Let's do it, right? Okay, so I'm using the thickest gauge of wire that we have, which is 16 gauge. You by all means could use a thinner gauge. 18 or even 20 gauge would probably be fine. I kind of liked using the 16 gauge because it's just so thick and robust. And I liked how it just gave it a really, what's the word I'm looking for? It just feels really solid. And I like that. So I'm going to use that again to make a second earring. I've got my wire here. We carry this gauge in just a couple of colors. I believe there is a silver, gold, and maybe a copper color. And I'm just going to unwind some of that. And this is a pretty thick, like I said, very sturdy craft wire. So this is Soflex craft wire. It is made with a copper center. This particular one has a silver plating and then a gold color over the top of it. It is non-tarnishing and also hypoallergenic. It has a encasement over the top of it that keeps it from tarnishing and also keeps your skin from touching any metal. And I'm just going to smooth out as much of this wire as I can and get it as straightened and nice and ready to be worked with. Because you don't want any of those bumps and kinks. This will also kind of start that work hardening process. I'm going to snip off my end using the flat side of my cutters. And you want to make sure you cover this so that little piece that I'm going to snip off doesn't go up into my eye or into a neighbor's eye. And that will give me a very nice flush flat cut. And then I can come over to my pliers and go ahead and make that first loop. I have found that this smallest size on the multi-size plier works pretty well for my first loop on my Olympus. Just leave it a little bit open so that it can slide on that peg pretty easily. I'm going to cut off a decent sized length of wire because it's fine if I end up having a little extra. Let me mute this mic. Are you still hearing me okay, Damien? Oh, good. I was getting a tiny bit of feedback, so I just wanted to get rid of that. We're going to make the second earring with green rather than red, although the red is beautiful. I was thinking since it is Christmas week, I might as well make it in green as well, and we can see both colors that way. Okay, so I've got my little loop, and then I'm going to slide it onto my first peg. And then I'm going to just turn my jig. And this is where it's super handy to have a solid jig like the WigJig, because I'm using such thick wire. It's very hard to handle this wire and make it into a shape if you're not using the jig to do the work. And I'm doing that by just simply spinning the jig and letting the wire sort of just curl naturally instead of me doing a lot of work to make it curl. Okay, I'm going to keep this on here a little bit longer. I'm not convinced I've got my shape just how I want it. I'm going to curl up my wire and make sure I've got it just how I want it. And then I'm also going to come in and trim this piece while it's right here on the jig. So again, it's important that the flat side is going towards where I want, where onto my piece. And I can leave a little gap there, just like there is on the other side, so that the two sides match each other pretty well. Right? Look good? I can push that down and just kind of make sure I've got my shape really good. And then I can pop it off and go to work on the work hardening part. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to close up my loop by just gently moving it over. Same with this side. This will also sort of work harden that loop. I'm just kind of going back and forth so I keep my circle shape, but my two ends are kind of meeting up there. And then I'm just going to kind of gently bend so that these come together. Okay. Next, we're going to make our jump rings. And then I'm going to make an ear wire with this gauge, but this gauge is silly for ear wires. I just don't have the 20 gauge on hand. So I'll show you how to make this ear wire, but then I would do it in a thinner gauge, like a 20 gauge. This is a little too thick for an actual ear wire, unless you've got a rather large hole in your ear. It probably wouldn't be a real great fit for you. Okay, since I've got this, I can probably get a couple of jump rings out of this. I think I used the biggest size to make these jump rings, or maybe it was the step below. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I've got my flat side there, and I'm just going to go around. Make several jump rings. Might as well finish that one off too. All right, and then when you have wire this thick, you really probably need like a saw to separate it, or you have to go in individually and do each one. So I'm going to go flat side on the part I'm keeping and trim to get my jump ring. And then I've got a little bit of a piece there, so I'm going to clip that off. Hopefully I don't totally ruin my cutters, but if I do, I know where to get more. I'm about due for a new pair anyway. Maybe this will put me over the edge. Do you ever do that? You're like, maybe if I break this, I can get I can get a new pair. All right, so I've got my 3 jump rings. You can take 2 chain nose pliers to do this if you prefer. I kind of tend to use one hand and then my my 1 chain nose plier. And again, I'm just kind of going back and forth, bringing those 2 ends together. I'm going to have to open them up again anyway. I'm just doing this so I can work harden them. There we go. We've got our 3 rings, and then let's make our ear wire, and we'll work harden everything together at once with our wire whacker. Oh, goodness. I'm seeing what you guys are saying real fast. Becky says she's got that jig, but she must have the small pegs. Oh, yeah, you need the bigger pegs. Oh, do you mean just the small metal pegs? These are a separate peg called a super peg, and you can find those on our website. We have them in both the Olympus Lite size and the Delphi size with the same size peg. So whichever jig you use, there is a peg like this that will fit in it. Let's see if there's any other. Patty says she's waiting for her kids from Arizona to arrive. Oh, Merry Christmas to you too. How special. I hope you have such a fun time visiting with them. So good to see all of you. Yes. Thank you, Janie. It has been a really difficult month. Couple of months. I mean, couple of years, really, if we're being honest. But yeah, it's hard. I just feel like, every 2 weeks I hear about either a loved one of my own dying or a loved one of someone I care about dying. And that's been really difficult, but that's why we're beading, right? Because beading makes everything better. It just does. Okay, so I'm trying to see which one. I think I used, it's the nice thing, you can go back and check out which one fits. I think I used this one here to make the bottom loop. You can make this ear wire, like I said, in a much thinner gauge of wire. This is much too thick. I'm just doing it because I want to be able to see the full earring together. But you don't have to do it in, why doesn't that want to come off there? There we go. You don't have to do it in this thick of a gauge of wire. It probably wouldn't fit into your ear. So be aware. And then I'm going to butt that little loop up against here and just come around to create my wire shape. And I want to make a pair that is similar. There we go. Got my second earring finding. Okay, now I take all those pieces, throw them onto my wire whacker. And this is going to allow me to work harden all of them at once, the entire surface. And it's a little loud. So Kristen always says her doggies go wild when she uses this. So if you have doggies or sensitive ears, turn down your volume. I'm going to take out a little bit of my aggravation over all the difficulties in the world now. Okay, you ready? And then I like to flip over. This doesn't flatten, although it will do a little flattening. It's more, what it does is that compacts the atoms inside of the wire. Just like when you bend it back and forth, it'll harden. This work hardens the whole entire piece at one time and makes it into a more solid shape. And there we go. We've got our basic pieces put together that we can start beading up our earring. So I'm going to do the same pattern, but I'm exchanging green for red. And I think this would be really cute if you're thinking more of a Valentine's Day, whereas this is going to be a little bit more of a Christmassy color set. I used those red beads in some other project, and I have no idea where they went. I was like, I'm not going to look all over, try to figure out where they are. I'm just going to, they might have gotten into the Girl Scout stuff. I taught a Christmas Girl Scout project for a badge last weekend. We were earning the badge for every Girl Scout is your sister. And so the girls had to make bracelets for each other, and they were paired up with some of their troop members. And that was actually more challenging than I thought it would be for them. They all wanted to make something for themselves. And so it was really good, though. I feel like they got a chance to really meet each other a little bit better than they have. Even though we've had a few scout meetings this year, it felt like it was a good connecting point. Okay, so now I'm going to get out my thinner gauge of Softflex craft wire. I've got some 26 gauge here. You could probably use a 24 gauge as well, maybe even a little thicker. The thicker you go, the trickier it would be. The thinner you go, though, the more delicate the wire is. There's the end. This end is sticking out for some reason, and it's confusing things. Let me see if I can put it down like that. There we go. So like I said, this is Softflex craft wire. It is a copper center, and then it has a silver plating and then a gold color over the top of it. I'm going to get a real healthy length of this because I'm going to wrap back and forth quite a few times. The nice thing is if you do end up not getting enough, you can always add more. It's not difficult. And if you want to work in a shorter length, you can totally do that. I'm straightening out my wire just like before, using my nylon jaw pliers to get all the bends and bumps and kinks. And then I'm just going to snip it off of my spool and set that aside. Okay. So to do this, what I did was at the top, I did a couple of wraps around the 2 loops, and then I added my first bead. So I'm going to come in here and just kind of get this prepared, bring those 2 loops side by side. And then I'm just going to do a nice wrap to get that ready to go. One thing I am doing is I am going to be wrapping the beads over the top and some bare wires on the back. And part of that is to keep the dangles so that they're not going all over the place, but also so that the beads sit sort of on top rather than some on top and some behind. So, which I've done it both ways. I'm going to take one wrap through here and around that, and then I'm going to come around and take one wrap on the other side, and then I'll add my first bead because my wire will be coming around on top. And this piece you can kind of just ignore. We're going to end up trimming it off eventually. So you see how my wire is on top of that bar there, and my 2 loops are side by side, and now I can pick up a bead. One of these sweet check glass beads. You can find these in our bead bundles. This is the Spice Market bead bundle, which had the red, the green, and this really pretty, I don't know, topaz. Is that what we would call this? I'm going to wrap that over the top, and then I'm going to go around the outside. And I think I did like a couple times between each section. So let's do it a few times. You don't need to go too crazy because I'm just going to go right below here and add some daggers. So that's probably good there. I'm going to wrap behind and then go through the center. I will go back and look at any questions you guys have, but I'm going to stay focused on the project for right now. And the other thing is I got to move all these tools so they don't drive me bonkers. And just trying to decide, do I want to wrap there? Maybe do one more. Give myself a little bit more space. And now I can pick up 3 of the daggers. These are the baby daggers. They also come in a bundle. We have a really great new discount today. I think Damien was going to post it. It is like $10 off over $59 and then $15 off over something. And I don't remember it exactly, but I think Damien will post it. Oh, there it is. 15% off over $59, 20% off over $79, 25% off over $99. Ooh, that's a good deal. So this applies to the bead bundles too. So if you were to spend over $99 on bead bundles, you will get the 30% or 50% off bead bundle discount, and then you will get the sale discount over the top of your order as well. So take advantage of that and get some of these awesome check glass bead bundles, like these baby daggers. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'm going to go around the side. And again, I'm going to do it a couple times. I am not a wire whiz, but I love making stuff with wire. So it's a ton of fun. And then I'm going to take this behind and I'm going to do some on the other side. A couple of quick passes on this side. Until I feel like I'm well below those baby daggers, and I can add a row of green fire polish. So I'm going to grab 3 of the green fire polish. Is that looking good? Love it. And if you want to scrunch it up a little bit more, you can. You can kind of play around with where those wires end up. I didn't really worry about it too much because I try not to get too, I try not to get too caught up in the details. I like to make good quality things, but I don't like to get too worried about if every wire is symmetrical or perfect. I just kind of go with it. I enjoy the creativity of just having it be a little messy and understanding that that's okay. So there's probably ways of doing this that is less messy, I would imagine. People that really do wire work and like a really clean finish are out there, and I'm sure you can find some videos from them. I'm just not that person, clearly. I'm clearly not that person. Okay, so now that we've established that, I'm going to grab a row of the topaz color. Oh, Robin's asking about James. Does James still do his working with wire YouTube videos? James took on our procurement job, Robin, at Softflax, and he has felt like it's keeping him busy enough between that and helping with the live sales that he has not done a new video in quite some time. I continue to encourage him to do a video whenever he feels up to it. And so at some point, I imagine he will probably do a video again, but he hasn't done it recently. He is, however, doing amazing things with his Cricut. He got a Cricut recently, and he actually etched these beautiful giving plates, glass giving plates. We had a cookie exchange at the office yesterday after we did our inventory, and he etched these beautiful giving plates. He made 3 of them. And the idea is that you fill your plate with the cookies, and he wanted to make 10 of them. He only got to 3, which I thought was amazing in itself. But at any rate, it's a plate that's not owned by anyone. So you fill it up, take it home, eat what's on it, and then you put something else on it and give it to someone else, and so on and so forth. It's such a beautiful, really beautiful concept. So he did that. He etched it using his Cricut, which I am flabbergasted by. I have a Cricut, and there is no way I'm etching any plates on my Cricut. So he's still being creative, just in a whole new, different sort of way. I love his videos too. He is kind of a wire working magician, and I'd love to see him do them again, but I also don't want it to be stressful for him. So we'll see when he's ready. I'm sure he'll make an appearance again. So I am stringing some more of those sweet little baby daggers on. They're just the cutest little things. Aren't they just adorable? They fit into the shape so nicely and just add like a little bit of texture. And just, I feel like they make this design extra special. Let's see how many I used here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many do I have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And is Kathy Davison here by any chance? Kathy sent us a beautiful plate of cookies. And we put it out for our cookie exchange yesterday, and everybody was so happy. I came home with a huge thing of cookies, and the kids were ecstatic about it, to say the least. So it worked out pretty well. Look how cute those are on that earring. They're just so lovely. Oh, Robin, do you have a Cricut? We might have to start a Cricut Facebook group. Jewelry making Cricut Facebook group. I'm still learning some basic stuff on mine. It is a lot of fun to play with, though, isn't it? Hopefully, eventually, I will have more time. I don't know when that will be, that magical day, but I'm thinking eventually the kids will be more in their own, they'll be doing their own thing more. And I will have more time to do things like Cricut. So I'm just straightening out my wire just because it got a little bit kinky there, and I wanted to straighten it and make it feel a little nicer. I'm going to also separate that just ever so slightly and make sure everything's looking good. That got just ever so slightly bent. So I'm going to kind of straighten that. And then I'm just going to go around the bottom to add my very last bead. Thinking just went right around this bottom part. I might need to pass the other way though, now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm not sitting on top. So let me go back just a little bit. Go back a couple little rows here, and we'll pass over so that we have our last bead sitting on top like all the other beads. All right, I think that would be good. So I've got some little bumpies there, and this is where that nylon jaw plier really comes in handy to just reshape that wire so that it looks nice and clean, like it was never used before. And then I can come in, and I'm going to do one wrap back behind the baby daggers. And start wrapping on the other side. And that should leave me with my wire on top. I hear tiny pitter patters. These kids. And you want to kind of make sure, you can see what I did that I'm going to fix a little bit. Do you see how it's a little bent and not tight? I want to come back in and just kind of tighten that up, just so that it sits nicely back behind those daggers and isn't going to cause me an issue. And then I can continue going. These things are so much harder to do on camera than they are when you can just kind of sit and be away from the table. A lot of times if I'm doing this kind of project, I wouldn't do it with a flat surface underneath me because the wire sort of drags on the surface and it's kind of annoying. But This is kind of where you got to be able to see it. So kind of what we got to do. Go. And I'm going to go till I think it's the right spot. Where did my daggers there? There we go. Ooh, this is looking good. Coming together nicely. I'm going to go maybe one more loop, and then I can add that bottom bead. You want to try to keep it from twisting, but nice and straight. All right, I'm going to grab my green bead for the bottom, slide it into place down here, and then I can keep wrapping. And for this wrap, it looks like I went right across and just kept on going. So that's what I'm going to do again because it seemed to work well. And there we go. We've got it all attached. And I think for ending it off, I just went ahead and kind of snipped it and tucked that end. So I'm going to do that. Snip and then take your chain nose plier and just kind of tuck that in, that little piece in. And then up here, I'm going to find where I want to snip it exactly. And then I'm going to tuck that in so it doesn't get caught on anything. All right. And then next we take our jump rings and we're going to open a jump ring and slide one onto one loop. Grab the next one, slide it onto the second loop. And then the last one, I started this off thinking I was going to make this into an Instagram reel. And by the end of it, I was like, there is no way in heck I can teach this in 60 seconds. I must have lost my ever-loving mind. So hence why I posted it to see if you guys would be interested in seeing it this week on the live show. And there we go. So that is our earring. You can do it in many different colors. I love these two colorways, are really cute. This would make a really good pendant as well. If you wanted to do a long pendant and then just hang it from some chain, I could see this being really, really beautiful and quite lovely. So you can get those bead bundles that I just used. One of them is Spice Market. That one I've kind of pulled apart, but it has lots of browns and reds. We have them in a lot of different colors. So we have this one, which I think is Harmony. We have this one, which I'm not sure, maybe Be My Valentine. Or Romance. I forget which name we ended up giving it. We have a bunch of them. So you can get the check glass bead bundles. They're all 30 to 50% off. And then you get the additional discount depending on how much you spend that we're offering this weekend. And same with the baby daggers. There are 8 different colors. And if you buy them in the bundle and get every color, then you get 30% off of the bundle. And then if you were to spend like $99 on your order, you'd get another $25 off the top of your order, or 25%. So if you spent $120, you'd get even more off because it's a percentage off, 25% off. So that's a great deal to take advantage of this Christmas week. And I hope you guys have just like the very best holiday. I am going to tune out. Like I said earlier, I'm going to just tune out and focus in on my family. And we've got some beautiful stuff here to celebrate. I'm doing a ham for Christmas, and the kids are excited about their presents and stocking, and it's feeling very wintry here in Benicia, California. We've got a lot of fog, so it feels like a white Christmas in some ways. Yeah, so Merry Christmas to all of you. Thank you for supporting us throughout this just wild 2021. I will be back again next Wednesday for Kit Week. We will be opening the Rose All Day Design Kit. We do still have a few of those left if you want to grab one. Now we typically ship in one day. So if you were to order it today, they would definitely ship it if they could tomorrow before the holiday. And you could probably even possibly still get it for next week. And there aren't many of them left. So grab one of those. We'll be launching our new kit, which is going to be Lunar New Year next Wednesday. And we'll have some other fantastic new products launching that day as well, including possibly I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I'm bad with secrets, so I'm just going to put it out there. Jesse James Beads and Softlux Company are going to be doing a Valentine's jewelry making party similar to our last one. And we'll have 4 designers over 2 nights and possibly even a little wine party after. And we're still putting together the details. We'll be launching the supply kit for that hopefully next Wednesday as well in 3 colorways. So we have some big things coming up, and the party will be toward the end of January before Valentine's Day. So if you want to join us for that, look for that next Wednesday as well. I know the last one was really popular. We had a lot of fun. So hopefully we can have fun again and have a little something to look forward to in the new year as we're trudging through this Omicron nonsense. We're going to have to do some online events to pep everybody up, right? So thank you for being here. Merry Christmas to all of those who celebrate Christmas. I love you guys. I know this is a very tough Christmas for many. And just like I said with Thanksgiving, I am here for you. And thank you for being here for me. And we're just going to do our best to get through it. Thank you, Suzanne. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'll see you next Wednesday for our next big launch day and our double kit day. And don't go tell Jesse James Beads I told you. I think it's still supposed to be a secret. Oops. Bye, everybody.